Then I will just jump right in.
Right.
Hello, this is Elizabeth, and I'm here today with my best plumber in the whole world, Dalton.
Hello.
So could you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about you, how long you've been in the business, maybe some of the jobs you used to do before you were a plumber?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Dalton. I'm one of the lead plumbing technicians here with Home Pros Plumbing, Heating, and Air, based out of Prattville, Millbrook area. Been plumbing now since I was about 14. Really, before I started plumbing, it was simple. Piggly Wiggly was my first job, believe it or not, as a cashier. Checking people out there at the pig. Helping my brother, really, during the summer, weekends, things like that. It's kind of hard to do plumbing and go to school.
Yeah.
Such a time-based career. We start at 7:30 every morning and kind of can't leave and clock out at 5. Got to make sure our clients are functioning, both water coming in and water exiting the residence. So it's hard to do that with school as a youngin'. Once I graduated high school 2013, started plumbing professionally then and really been in it ever since.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yep.
That's awesome. What inspired you to get into plumbing?
Really, it was my brother. My brother's pretty much raised me as his son. He had done it, and being tall and lanky, I fit in narrow places under crawl spaces. Had a pretty good work ethic. He put that instilled in me. So, kind of worked under him, followed his footsteps, and I ain't left the field.
That's awesome. How has the plumbing industry changed over the years that you've noticed, or any upgrades maybe even before you started?
Oh man,
A lot.
So back in the day, the 50s and 60s, the running story in the industry is that those are plumbers. The guys, me and the newer generation, we just put toys together.
Oh, what the heck?
Well, the old guys, they work with copper pipe, brass fittings, cast iron pipe. 20-foot stick of 4-inch cast iron probably weighs 200 pounds. Packing joints with oakum, melting down lead in crucibles, pouring lead ladles. That was real plumbing. It's definitely easier nowadays, but the technology's advanced to where it's a lot safer, a lot more cost effective for our client. Doesn't take as long. The old timers, those are the real plumbers. We just put toys together.
That's crazy. I could not imagine.
Yeah,
I've seen you working. It's not easy at this point either, in my opinion.
In my 15 years, I've laid one lead joint, and
it was not fun.
No, not a little bit.
Wow. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people might have about plumbing?
Well, it is a dirty job, don't get me wrong, but the biggest misconception is that you're just always working in muck and, beat
People's
down.
sewage.
And people's sewage. And it's not necessarily always. Some days you have easy days, some days they are not easy. I guess the actual dirtiness of being a plumber, the misconceptions of, I guess, the mental image that people immediately have of a plumber, it's definitely advanced a long way since then. A lot more professionalism, a lot more training is going into today's plumbers.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I've heard people just be like, oh no, I could not do that,
Yeah. It definitely takes a special somebody to do it, but
It does. But it's not all bad.
no.
What are some of the most common plumbing issues that you see in older homes specifically?
Drain stoppages, I would say, is number one. Number two would just degradation over time. Time and pressure really destroys any mechanical device. The older the fixture, the older the drain, of course. It starts to fail, leaking in copper pipes, cast iron drain lines failing. Just age, really.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand that most things in the residential plumbing field are designed to last 8 to 10 years. That's really it.
Everybody's thinking it's going to last for
Yeah.
their lifetime.
Unfortunately, it's not the same way anymore. If you get 8 to 10 years out of any plumbing fixture, you're doing great.
Wow. So, back in the day when they were moving those huge heavies, that's when
it was designed to last a lifetime.
Right.
We're in 2025 now, and most of your cast iron drains are laid in the 50s and 60s, so they got a life out of it. Good life.
Absolutely. How do you determine whether old pipes need to be replaced or they can be actually just repaired?
Experience, really. After doing it long enough, you're able to look at the pipe, look at the system, evaluate the entire system, and give your client informed options on what needs to be done. We try our best to give clients options versus repair or replace, but there are times where, for the safety of not only the client, but for myself and the company, where there's no option but to replace. Because it's just, with plumbing, it's not, there's too much danger in it. Water is a very destructive force, and so we don't want to take the risk of damaging the client's home or putting their safety in damage. It's just options, really.
That makes sense. What are some warning signs homeowners should look out for regarding their plumbing systems?
I think the biggest warning sign that clients could value from is determining where their water meter is located, if they're on a city system, and kind of understanding how to read a water meter. You have old styles that have an analog scale. It's got a dial that spins, and there's a small little dial that's called a tattletale gauge. So if you make sure all the water isn't moving in your system and that dial is moving, it's indicating you're losing water somewhere. Understanding how to read a water meter and determining water leaks would be the biggest tip that I could give to homeowners.
Absolutely. What are some easy maintenance tips to keep a home's plumbing in good shape?
The biggest tip would be flushing your tank style water heater. Most clients don't understand.
Once a year, right?
It's every year. That's correct. Yep, right on. Once a year, that tank needs to be flushed and maintained. As water comes into the system, it could bring, whether it be dirt, debris from the main city, rust and calcium buildup. Getting all of that out of the water tank will definitely increase the life of the tank and the water quality inside of the home. Sight visual, look at something. If it doesn't look right, find out why it doesn't look right.
Don't just keep going.
Just don't keep going. Yeah, use your judgment. If it don't look right, call somebody.
Yeah. What is the number one issue that you get called out for to come fix?
Definitely drains. Believe it or not, drain lines are kind of one of those things where it's out of sight, out of mind until it's not, and then it is an immediate issue. Drain clogs are really a backbone for the plumbing industry.
In regards to behind the scenes work of plumbing, what's the strangest or most challenging job that you ever worked on? Too many stories.
There's some stories that can be spoken of. I think the most challenging one that I've been on, it was actually a sewer line breakage that me and my brother, I was maybe 2 years into the industry. My brother was at 12 years. We were in Montgomery, old neighborhood, where the sewer mains come out of the residence at 3 foot. But by the time they reach the lateral, it's at 12 foot deep. And there was a break at the lateral, so we had been digging at the lateral, trying to dig in to get down to it. And, we're the greatest plumbers in the world, but we can't see in the ground. And my brother's on the excavator digging, and that ground had been wore out so long, washed out, that the entire bank that the machine was on caved in.
No.
And tipped down, and my brother was quick enough to get the boom down and stop the machine from going in.
Dang.
And he walked it out. It took him probably 4 hours to get the machine out, but
that sucks.
That's without a doubt the scariest job that I've been on, and it wasn't even me.
You're just terrified.
I was there.
Yeah. Wow,
that's the worst.
Pretty intense. Have you ever come across something really just unexpected on a plumbing job?
I do believe that, not to call you out, but
it's okay.
I do believe Mr. Bo there, your lovely animal, took a piece of my soul when that giant dog was sneaking up underneath the house and said hello.
He was in the crawl space and the dog just...
Yeah, he was there, right here. Giant dog just saying hello.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden. A piece of my soul left my body. That's it. Without it
It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. But probably animals, not only clients have dogs, but, didn't catch a raccoon, or a raccoon was underneath the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was the only way out, so I had to fight a raccoon up underneath.
Get out of the way.
Animals. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Are there certain tools that you end up having to use almost at every job?
The number one tool that I use, that every plumber should have, is a pressure gauge. Checking the water pressure on the residence. It's within 65 to the max, 45 to the minimum. A lot of your leaky faucets, drippy toilets are caused by water pressure. So if you start resolving issues in a home without checking water pressure, you're doing step 2 before step 1. A pressure gauge should be the number one tool any plumber has.
That makes sense. Always got to have a good water pressure. What's the dirtiest part of being a plumber that people don't maybe realize? Because we kind of realize some of it, but is there some unexpected parts?
The worst part of plumbing, for me personally, is insulation, attic insulation, especially something called horsehair insulation, which was popular in the 50s and 60s. You get it on you and you itch for days. Probably working in insulation is the biggest non-known bad side of plumbing.
When you see that, do you immediately try to put on gloves, or do you just go for it? You're just like, it's gonna be that day?
So the problem with putting on gloves is you start to sweat, because normally it's in an attic and it's 100 degrees up there, and with that style of insulation, if you sweat, it opens your pores and then it gets deeper. So you just kind of embrace the suck.
Yeah.
You know, you can put on PPE, definitely safety glasses and gloves, but there's really not much you can do.
Yeah, just kind of part of that.
Yep.
Gotcha. What's the most rewarding part of your job?
When somebody has an issue that they can't fix, I love being able to resolve an issue, being able to help people. That's the most rewarding part of my career, is being able to just help people. You know, I love it. Well, the problem solving, you know, I've met some of my best friends on calls. You know, I've got people who pretty much call me family now because I help them out. It's just, I like helping people.
That's awesome. If you weren't a plumber, though, what kind of profession or trade do you think you'd be in?
It would definitely be putting something together. I've got a very, kinesthetic mindset. I work with my hands. I learned doing things. Wanted to be a welder growing up, but it would definitely be something mechanical. Working, doing something. Definitely not an office guy.
No.
Can't sit still as I'm swiveling on this chair. I'd definitely be moving, doing something.
Absolutely. What's one piece of advice that you'd give someone considering becoming a plumber?
Just apply. Go anywhere. The trades industry, heating and air, plumbing, electricians, duct guys, it is a diminishing field. Just apply yourself. Like I said, embrace the suck. It's going to be hard days. There's going to be good days, but just apply and apply yourself. Try. Go with the punches. You're going to not know anything. Go in with an open mind. Listen, learn. Just start,
Absolutely.
Take that first step. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard, but it's the most rewarding career ever once you get into it.
You think that plumbing is a skill that more people should learn? I kind of know your opinion on it.
Service industry is a dying trade. Sure, as you know, Mr. Micro, he did dirty jobs. A very large advocate for the service industry, and he has many talks with people from all trades. And a very common saying is there's not enough. There's not enough people in the service industry. Just we need help.
Please apply.
Help me. Just show up.
If you could magically invent a tool that would make your job easier, what would it be?
Either Inspector Gadget's extendo arms, or just like be able to grow hands. Because there's times where I've got both of these tied up and I need that up there and there's nobody there. Yeah, more hands.
Please. What is the funniest plumbing related story that you have?
Funniest. There was this elderly gentleman that I was working with, and he said, "Son, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy, but I hear a water leak." And I'm like, I stood there and listened, and in the trade, you kind of be able to hear it a little better. And I was like, "No, Pops, I hear it." And this old man walked around his house for like 15 minutes, listening for water.
Yeah.
But his wife, unbeknownst to him, had gotten one of those, animal balls that have the water fountain in it, and stuck it in the pantry, and didn't tell him.
And so he just thought he was going insane.
Yeah, he's like, "I hear water, but I can't find it." And I'm like, "No, you're right." And me and that old man giggle like schoolgirls for about 20 minutes. And I was like, "You're good. You don't even owe me money. This is a story that I'm going to tell. Here it is." But chasing a water leak, that was a dog bowl.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah. I felt bad, but I'm glad he had a good sense of humor about it.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because that sucked. Poor guy. And I was like, "It's your wife. You
What are you
can't
going to do?
get
Yeah.
I'm not fighting her. You can do that."
It's above my pay grade.
Way above my pay grade.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you
You're very
coming
welcome.
out, both to fix my plumbing issues and
Sure.
also to let me interview you.
You're very welcome.
If you're ever in the Millbrook area, I said?
Millbrook,
Within
Prattville.
an hour,
Yep.
hour and a half.
Millbrook, Prattville, Montgomery, Opelika. We try to stay closer to Millbrook, but we'll definitely, if our clients need us and they can't find anywhere else,
Yeah.
we'll definitely find a way to make it work for you.
Appreciate that. Yes, so if you're in that area, call Home Pros. Dalton is the best plumber in the world, and he works there, so.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.